Hello there. This is Nicole M. Louie, the social worker strategy mentor. If this is the first time you're catching one of my lives, my name's Nicole M. Louie, and I am a strategy mentor for social workers because I help them move forward in their career by helping them gain work-life balance through independence and enjoying the life that they really want to live. So welcome to you if this is the first time that you're catching one of my lives. I'm jumping on really impromptu because I met with a client this morning and she reminded me very much of one of my clients that I saw last week, one of my mentees. Hello, lovely. Nice to have you join me. Yeah, she just reminded me so much of her because both of them are having huge issues with pricing. My gosh, they are being like ripped off. They are being taken advantage of. And so in talking with them, basically to cut a long story short, because I don't want to waffle, I'm very good at waffling, but I just wanted to come on because I wanted to not talk about their business, but just talk about the fact that this is something that I see a lot. So I mentor senior social workers, managers, senior managers as well, and even newly qualified social workers. And what I find synonymous with all of them is that they struggle with some of the basic fundamentals of, number one, creating their vision and knowing what they need to be doing or what they want to do as independent social workers. And the reason why I say that is the one thing that I think is the major denominator that it is synonymous with all of them, wherever they are across the board, is because not having a vision, a clear vision of what you want for independence significantly impacts how you move forward in independence. So for those that have already started taking the leap and stepping forward, like the two clients that I've seen already last week and this week that are already out there getting work coming in, they're getting it in the wrong places, number one, and number two, their pricing is like all over the place. Whereas when if you have a vision and you are very clear about your numbers, then you will know what you should be charging. You'll know what money is too low. You'll know whether you are actually getting a good amount for the value that you provide. Like one of my client last week, for example, when we did her numbers and I asked her some questions, and I asked her to break down exactly what she does. And I asked her questions. So what about this? What about your charging for your time or the time that you're liaising through solicitors and the local authority? What about all of that time? Things that she had not considered. It worked out that per hour, she was getting paid £17.95 per hour. This is a qualified social worker with over 20 years experience doing expert witness work. Like both of our jaws dropped because I didn't even realize it was going to be that low by the time, we finished the consult. And so the one that I saw today, a similar thing, like she was getting paid peanuts for work that is well and truly over 100 hours of work, getting paid 500 and something pounds. And that didn't include the fact that she does interpreting, like which you're supposed to be earning a good at least couple of hundred an hour for something like that. So and the amount of hours that she had put into this work. So, social workers are really out here shortchanging themselves. Why? Because they don't understand the structure of business. They don't understand how to put the pieces together. They don't understand what should be in contracts. So they're also not getting paid. Another thing that was synonymous for both of them, they were not getting paid on time. They were having to wait for the payment, which is already a low payment, right? And they did not have things in place that allows them to either get paid upfront or at least to be paid half beforehand. So just things like that, I just find it so concerning. And so we had to really go through the process and break it down, go working backwards so that we can work forward, so that they could understand what they should have been getting, what they should have been charging. And it was an eye-opener. So these are the kind of things that they were telling me. They were telling me like, this is so inspirational. I'm really excited to be working with you. They said that I know now that I really need your input. I really need to understand the fundamentals of business. I need somebody to hold my hand through the process. And so if any of this resonates with you or anybody that you know that's a social worker that is thinking about independence, wants to be independent, but really does not know how, they do not know where to start, and they're confused about the process, please put them in touch with me. I am very much about social workers we are getting paid our value. You know, we are not all about money and leading with money. But the reality is, you know, money is unfortunately what makes the world go around. Money is needed to pay bills. Money is required for us to help others and to live out our own dreams. And so we have to be realistic in terms of what we are charging, so that we also don't undervalue the profession and undervalue the services that we provide, because we are experts. We are oftentimes, you know, we've got a couple of decades at least, most of us social workers under our belt, and that is expertise, like day in, day out, working with particular client groups, understanding the nuances, being able to solve their problems, knowing how to support them, helping them get on a journey that they want to be on to make a transformation. That those are the things that we do as social workers. And so as experts, we should get paid a proper value. I'm seeing in the court arena that people who are dog handlers or in the fitness area, arena or field, are getting paid more an hour as an expert in the court arena. That to me is shocking when I think about, as social workers, the things that we deal with, the level of risk that we deal with, where we're going into people's homes and we don't know what we're going to meet, when we're dealing with areas of society that a lot of people ignore or don't want to touch. Like, we are the ones that are out late at night, you know, having to risk sometimes our own lives at the expense of our families, our partners, our relationships, our health, and we're not getting paid what we should be getting paid. And so I just jumped on to say this, to say that I want social workers out there, if you are listening to this and you are a social worker who's already doing independent work, some semi-independent work, I want you to really look at, what are you charging for your value? Are you valuing your time? Are you undervaluing the profession? Are you undervaluing yourself? If we are able to charge a proper and reasonable amount, then we are actually able to deliver more to more people, because we're going to be doing less hours in order to make ends meet, and to not just make ends meet, but so that we can thrive, right? Nobody can be a philanthropist if they have no income. Like, you can't be generous with what you don't have. And so in order for us to give more time and give more of ourselves to other people, we actually have to have more time to do that with. We need to have more money to be able to do that with, and we need to have more of ourselves. Most of the social workers, in fact, a lot of them that I work with and I consult with, have got health problems. I have yet to find a social worker who's a mentee of mine who doesn't have some kind of health issue going on. I think I would say that there's probably about 80%, 75, 80% of my mentees have health problems. I have health problems, and much of that has been as a result of my work in local authority, and how I was not taking care of myself. And so it's really important that we are able to take care of ourselves so that we can work from a place of overflow and not from deficit. So, you know, if you're listening to this, thank you to those of you that are joining on Instagram. I just jumped on here, and LinkedIn. I jumped on here really impromptu, just to offload on my mind what I was thinking, because I was working with these two clients last week, and then one to this morning, and they just resonated. It was just such a parallel what they were going through, and I just felt that I wanted to speak on it and talk about, the fact that we need to value ourselves, and it's always intrinsically linked with a lack of confidence. That was the other thing that for them just spoke to me, like their confidence in each other, and they're so amazing at what they do, their experience level that they have, but they just do not have the confidence inside. Like, hearing them talk about themselves and talking about the fact that they need, and almost like they're begging to be given work, like, and I'm saying to them, like, do you know how amazing your work is? Do you know how much experience you have? Do you know, when you turn this into an independent social work business, what you're going to be able to command because of your expertise? Like, I'm excited about the journey for them now that they've had this new realization. And so I'm excited about the fact that for them, they are seeing me as a mentor, and they want to work with me, and that they recognize that they do have things to offer, because that was the main thing for me at the end of it, that they realize they absolutely have things that they can offer. They've got expertise, they've got skills, that they just need the direction, the support, and a blueprint to know how to utilize it. And it's not easy. A lot of social workers just rock up and go out there and start doing work, and they really don't know what they're doing. And I've seen too many end up going back into local authority work, going into full-time work as a permanent worker, or worse yet, giving up on their dream completely and just doing something else, leaving the profession. And everybody loses, like everybody loses. And so I'm glad, thank you. Shazna says that I need to hear this. I'm so glad you need to hear this. Take it, run with it, implement it. I want you, here's something that you can do if you're a social worker that's, like I said, semi-independent, or you've already stepped out and started taking work. I want you to put a pause, put a break. You must make sure you have terms and conditions in place. It doesn't matter who it is. If it's a local authority, don't start doing any work until they sign the terms and conditions that you are happy with. If they will not accept yours and you have to accept theirs, then you have to take theirs and seek legal advice and get it looked at and ensure that there are clauses in there that are beneficial for you. Yeah, you must do that. And so it's going to be important that you do that. So that's one thing. Don't do anything without anything signed on the dotted line, please. Make sure that you are charging for every bit of your time, every second of your time, because time is money. When you work for yourself, if you are not doing other pieces of work within your business, and especially if you're a one-man band, like, time is money. Nobody else is going to do that work. And so when you're focused over here, that side is getting neglected. So you have to ensure that you are getting paid a valuable amount of money, not that you're ripping anyone off, but you're getting value in exchange for what you're doing, so that you can actually, you know, charge accordingly, so that you can actually do the work to the best of your ability and put all the time in, because other areas will be getting neglected. And so I want you to make sure you've got terms, make sure that your pricing structure is right and that you're including everything that should be included, and ensure that your payment terms are suitable to you. So if people are telling you, well, we'll pay you in 30 days, that's not going to work. You need some of that money up front as a minimum if they're not going to give you all of it. So make sure those are inside your terms. The other thing I would say, if people are paying you late, small claims is your best friend. Don't play with your bag, okay? Do not play with your money. Ensure that people are paying you and respecting you. I can remember when very early on, when I was doing a report for a soliciting firm, it was around the Christmas era, and I think I was only like 2 years in at this point, so I still hadn't had myself all together with my terms and stuff. And I remember a solicitor was due to pay me because I did the report, I handed in the work, they were very, very happy with it. And the day came and went and I didn't get paid, and my mortgage was due and everything. So I was chasing them up, and you know, when you get that little, you know, that little adrenaline rush because you're thinking, Lord, I'm going to miss my payment. And then I called them and the solicitor was on holiday. They were on holiday, and I was sitting in my home stressed out because I couldn't pay my bills, but her bills had been paid and she was off on holiday. I thought, okay, well, we're not going to be doing this again. So, you know, I went ham and tongue, you know, and I made sure I recovered my money. And so you have to, I learned from that you have to have things in place ahead of time. And so that didn't happen to me again, ever. That's never happened to me again. Okay, so those are things that you've got to make sure that you do. Make sure that you have got things in place where you are not going to be left stranded and left out of pocket, because the reality is organizations that are paying you are fine. Everyone's getting paid their salary at the end of the month, 15th of the month or the 30th, money hits their account, no problem. When you are independent, you've got to ensure that you have systems in place that are robust, that ensures that you get paid so you can pay your bills. And it is that simple. It's not about being unkind or nasty or money hungry. It's business, and every business has got to run and have a smooth operation so you are not left stranded and left out of pocket. So those are things that I would say to you. I have, Kerlock says, Nicole, I have a great person that teaches meditation and self-care. Maybe you can connect. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I'm not much into meditation, I have to say. I do meditate on the word of God, and I do a lot of self-care and relaxation. I actually am connected with a lady. I wonder if it's the same person. I don't know. She's on here. We do talk about self-care, but I'm more than happy to connect with anyone. I would love to connect with anyone around self-care and managing. Social work forever, because we're worth it. Absolutely. Oh yeah, for my clients, yeah, absolutely. Yep, we can do. I'm always open to connecting. I was collaborated with somebody and spoke with somebody just this morning. And I love the idea of collaboration, so I'm more than happy to speak to anybody. Yes, connect us, Curly Lock. John is saying, I think you're missing the point about being value. Money is very important, but social work needs to have good work-life balance. And the evidence seems to be that low caseloads, good development and supervision is key. Agencies social work gets significant amount per hour. Your assumption that given more money gets more productivity is false. I think you need to rethink your understanding of value. There are excellent social workers out there doing great work in LAs. I think your comment that social work just rock up is so missing. Do you want to finish off that sentence, John? Some of it is missing. I think your comments that social work just rock up is so Do you want to finish that off and I can talk to that? So I'll respond to that, John. I appreciate your view. That's your view. I'm talking from my experience. Agency workers, you said, get a significant amount per hour. I beg to differ. Agency workers used to get a lot more. They don't much anymore at all. The vast majority of agency social workers that I speak to, that I mentor, talk about the fact that while there might be agency, they feel that they are treated very differently. And this is something that I think has been going on for a very long time. They feel that they're treated very differently. They get dumped on. Yes, exactly, Curly Lock. IR35 is a huge issue that comes into play there. So I think agency work and its benefits are very different to what it used to be. And IR35 plays a significant role in that. Of the communities that I'm in where social workers are, where they are semi-independent or full-time social workers that are thinking about independence, I hear them complain about that and they are agency. So I'm not quite sure about your view of that. You say that my assumption that giving more money means more productivity is false. I disagree respectfully. I think that when you've got more money at your disposal, you are able to do more. You are able to do more. It allows you freedom and flexibility to serve better and to serve more. So I would disagree with that. We're both entitled to our opinion. I would say that, as I said earlier, it's not all about money. The main thing is about serving, but you need money to do that. And that's a reality. My view is that it's absolutely unacceptable that social workers should be given pittance for the work that they do when they are placing themselves at so much risk, and when they are putting in the hours that they are putting in. And so I think that's really what it's about. That's really my point, John. So you say you believe I should rethink my understanding of value. I respectfully disagree. I'm very clear on value. I've learned the hard way of how to value myself and my expertise. And I encourage my colleagues and my social workers that I mentor to do the same. And they are thankful for it because nobody else is telling them to do it. Nobody else is encouraging them or helping them in that way. So I'm not sure what you do, John. I'd love to know what you do. And I'd love to have more of a conversation with you about this. I think you're right. There are excellent social workers out there doing great work in local authorities. And I think there's a place for local authority work. Definitely. I started off in local authority. I've worked across 12 local authorities in the UK. I was an employment-based student. I absolutely loved my work. And there's definitely a place for local authority. And I think the good thing about independence, and if you've seen any of my other lives where I talk about independent social work being a win-win-win, it's a win for me as an individual and for those that I mentor being an independent social worker, because they get to do what they love on their terms. The social workers that come to me are burnt out, they're stressed, they're tired, they're overwhelmed. I have social workers crying on Zoom calls with me because they are that unhappy in where they are. And so when they come to me like that and they're talking about the stresses of the job and that they can't sleep, it's affecting their relationships at home, they have insomnia, depression, and they're still having to work. That really is the attribute of working long term in a local authority setting. And I think that it kind of has a shelf life. And so when you have a certain amount of experience, my view is that moving into independence is a great space because you win. You get to continue doing what you're doing as a social worker without compromising your health. The local authority absolutely wins because they have somebody that they can commission that isn't operating in a way that they are by virtue of the way they're structured and set up. and the service users on the receiving end win because they have somebody who can fulfill a role and help them make a transition and do work with them that the local authorities and maybe other organizations can't do. So everybody literally wins. And so I think it's a great thing being independent. And I think local authority work absolutely has its place. I've had great experiences there. I've learned so much, as has all my colleagues and my mentees, learned so much from being in local authority. So I think we're very much aligned there, John. And yeah, please do finish your statement. And then you've put, you have no focus in what you were saying, it's all rhetoric. Okay, well, I respectfully disagree with you, and I'm so glad you have an opinion of me, John, and I'm so glad that you're tuned in listening. So I'm okay with what your views are. You are one person in a whole population worldwide around the globe of 8 billion people. It doesn't matter to me. I stand by what I say because I'm experienced in mentoring social workers who work in local authority. I was somebody in local authority. I've done more than 15 years. I know what it's like. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm okay with what you feel and think. I stand by what I say. If you'd like to have further conversation, you've got all my contact details. Call me. Let's have a conversation. And I wonder how many social workers you speak with. I'd love to know that. Put that in the comments. Okay, let's see what other people are saying. Shazna says, in addition, we often pay for independent training and often do not get the same opportunities as permanent workers. There you go. That's exactly what I was just explaining to our friend John, who seems to think, you know, agency work and things, workers get paid so much more. You don't really, you don't. And Rihanna says, experience and needs to be paid accordingly. Absolutely. In reality, many places cannot pay us for our life energy. Our life energy goes beyond simple tasks. Yeah, absolutely. I think like a lot of professionals in, you know, the health and social care field, you know, even in teaching, like it's the same thing. If you think about the hours that have been put in, if you think about the time, the energy, or the prep work that gets done, and your personal life that gets sacrificed, you know, it will take its toll over a time. It will absolutely cause difficulties. It's problematic, and I think that's why I do think any kind of working for somebody else in whatever industry is, but particularly the health and social care, like, has its shelf life. I'm a really firm believer in going out, making things happen, and contributing to sustainability, contributing to being able to change the face of how things are done, and being able to contribute by filling your putting your stake in the ground, as it were. I think there's great opportunities out there. And the reality is, social workers, we are so multi-talented, multi-passionate. We are able to do so many different things. Why are we only restricting ourselves and buckling under the pressure in order to do that? Why aren't we going forward and carving out a lane for ourselves? We should absolutely be doing that. And just like any other person, then in business, we need to be charging accordingly and ensuring that we are getting paid our worth for what we are doing. That does not mean ripping somebody off. What it means is charging appropriately for our expertise, the transformation that we are providing, and ensuring that we are covering our costs. That's a basic business sense. So Hey there, I am back. I'm so sorry, my battery. Thinking, why is the Wi-Fi messing up? It's absolutely stable. I've done nothing wrong. And then I realized that it is actually my Wi-Fi. Hello, thank you for rejoining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was my battery. My battery died. So I think I might have lost the previous live there on IG. This one still seems to be going here on StreamYard. I hope that is the case. Yeah, it's still saying it's going. Excellent. Let me put this down. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Let's get the oh, sorry. Okay. Ah, got there. Join back on IG. Join back. Can't remember where I was now. And I think the comments have disappeared here on LinkedIn. But I think I read through them anyway. I would love if anybody else has any comments there on LinkedIn. I think it was LinkedIn that came from. And I know I'm streaming also on YouTube and also Facebook. So anybody has any comments, and also, of course, Instagram. So what was I saying just before I rudely cut myself off? I don't even remember. I think I was just talking about value, and I guess what I was thinking what I was thinking about while I was flustering and trying to get myself back together, I was thinking about the fact that one of the main things, if you've ever seen any of my other lives, like, understand that I do not equate value only with money. The reason why it came up is because of the two clients that I had recently, that they were just so close together and very similar. It just really reminded me of the importance of it, I guess. But any of you that have seen any number of my lives will actually know the thing that I talk the most about as far as values concerned is what? Self-care. So I can't remember who it was that came on here on Instagram and spoke about a connection with somebody that does meditation and self-care for clients. For my clients, absolutely, like, self-care is the number one thing that I talk about in terms of value. That's the best way for you to value yourself, having boundaries, ensuring that you understand your value and your worth, and being able to put that forward in terms of how you advocate for yourself, how you advocate for your clients. So if you can't advocate for yourself, you can't do it for your clients very effectively. And so that is the number one thing that I talk about in terms of value. It's generally not money. But it's not, we can't leave money out of the equation. It's kind of like a dirty word. It feels as though sometimes in social work, as though it's something, especially in independent social work, as though we shouldn't talk about it, when actually, yeah, we need to talk about it. We need to have that conversation. We absolutely need to have that conversation, because, there are ISWs out here being ripped off. And it's because they don't know any better. They don't know how to price themselves. They don't know how to manage, putting their best foot forward and showing and demonstrating their value. So that was it, really. I just wanted to come on and have a little chin wag about that. And I kind of got slightly derailed, but it was a good conversation nonetheless. So thank you to those of you who joined, and sorry about the interruption with the broadcast. It wasn't intentional. My battery died. I thought it was actually charging. And let me make sure that it's still charging, because this is how I had it before. I wonder if I'm doing something to it, holding it that way. So yeah, thank you so much for listening in. And as I said, for those of you, if you are just joining and listening to me, or this is the first time catching you live, my name is Nicole M. Louie. I'm the social worker strategy mentor, and I help social workers find better work-life balance and just generally progress in their career and enjoy their job again, doing social work, their ministry, should I say, through independence, really, and being able to stay doing what they love, because most that I talk to want to exit the profession because they're just at their wits' end. And so I will really want to encourage them to remain in social work and have great partnerships with their service users, local authorities, other organizations, so that we can work more collaboratively together to deliver. So that's what I do. And for those of you that are interested, if you're thinking about independence, if you're thinking, if you're already semi-independent, but are struggling to really take it full time. If maybe you're a senior manager or a manager and you're thinking, what will I do with all these skills and experience? But you don't really want to remain in a job where you're looking at just data. You want to get back into the helm of, getting your hands dirty and connecting with clients, then have a conversation with me. I actually have enrollment open at the moment. We start on Sunday, which is the Social Workers Launch to Freedom program. If you're on LinkedIn as well, there are a couple of hundred people that are saying that they want to attend the boot camp. So if you are one of those people, you do need to register, just because although the boot camp is free, the 2 hours on Sunday, it isn't going to be live streamed here on the platforms, any of my social media platforms. So you will need to register. And I will put the link. The link, in fact, will be in my bio on Instagram. And if you go to my website, it will also be there. I'll make sure it goes there if it's not already. And so, come along to that boot camp. It's happening tomorrow, 7 to 9. What I'm going to be going through is some of the fundamentals around your independent practice and putting things together in terms of knowing your niche, so you stand out in a market that can be quite saturated in terms of everyone's just doing assessments. How can you be different? What is your area of expertise and passion, so that you're not going to be replicating what you're already doing in local authority. The other thing we're going to be talking about is the importance of having different income streams, understanding how to put together your services and products. All those kind of things are going to be really important if you're going to have longevity in your business. I've been able to generate 6 figures into my business without doing tendering, relying on just assessments, not doing work directly with local authorities, not getting government funding or things like that. I haven't done any of that. I've literally created services and products because I've understood who the people I serve, what they need. I understand them and I pitch to them and I deliver, and they give me repeat work. And so I encourage you to do the same. And that's what I teach my mentees. So my senior managers that I'm mentoring, my managers, senior practitioners, and even newly qualified social workers. If you're a newly qualified social worker and you think, oh, I need to have lots of years experience in local authority, you don't, unless you're planning to replicate what the local authority are doing. It's really around you've been able to fill a gap in the market so that, the local authorities can commission you at some point and they can benefit. It means that social workers have somebody to refer to so that their clients can get the help. And it then takes some of the pressure off of them too. So again, this is about working collaboratively together and you doing those learnings. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of those things on the boot camp. And the Social Workers Launch to Freedom program is currently open. We start on Sunday, as I said, and so you are welcome to join that. The link is definitely there on my website. I'll put my website here so that you can see. You could just go to my website and it will be there. And if you're on Instagram, again, the link is in my bio, so you'll be able to check it out there. So thank you so much for your listening ear. If you've got any questions or you want to contact me, just DM me and I look forward to a conversation. Thank you so much for your time and I'll speak with you soon.